Where does a soul go after death? Is there heaven or hell? Well, today let's talk about the afterlife and what people believe needs to be done in order to get there. From having to get buried in a jade suit to celebrating your ancestors yearly to keep them at peace. Let's talk about this and more only in today's video. Top 10 Secrets to the Afterlife Found in History Part 2. Starting off this countdown, we have the sky burial. In Tibet, Buddhists who believe in sending their loved one's soul towards heaven will partake in something known as the sky burial. Basically, it involves leaving the deceased bodies on top of a mountain to decompose naturally or to be eaten by birds and other animals. This was done for a number of reasons. First, it was considered as an act of generosity because they are providing food to sustain life, other animals. Second, it was also believed to help unite the deceased person with the sky or sacred realm. In fact, they believe that when someone dies, their body contains nothing more than just flesh. Their soul has already moved on, so they find that it's okay to give the body away to the animals and help with the circle of life. Moving on at number 9, we have Famadihana. Famadihana is a funeral tradition that is practiced in Madagascar. It involves opening the tomb of the deceased every year to rewrap them in fresh burial clothes. Sometimes it's referred to as the turning of the bones. This burial practice also involves them sometimes spraying them with wine or perfume, and then they rewrite their names on cloth so that they will always be remembered. Then the bodies are taken out of the tomb for community festivities. This is all done to help push the spirit of the dead towards the afterlife, as well as to show that they haven't forgot about their ancestors. Coming in at number 8, we have the ceremonial suit of jade. During the Han Dynasty, royal members were often buried in ceremonial suits of jade. This was done for a number of reasons. One, it was said that the suit would preserve their flesh for eternity. 2, the suit would protect their body as they went into the afterlife. And 3, the Han rulers believed that jade would preserve the souls attached to it. So basically, these suits were created by cutting jade into square, rectangular, and triangular shapes. These shapes were then threaded with wire together until it made a suit big enough for the deceased's body. The type of thread used to create the suit symbolized the deceased's status. Emperors had their suit made with gold threads, whereas lesser royals had silver and those underneath them had copper. Lowly ranked aristocrats had it sewn together with silk. Because of jade's hardness and durability, they associated it with protection and immortality, hence why they wanted to cover the entire body in it. It would keep them safe and help their soul get to where it needed to go. Moving on to number 7, we have the finger cutting. The Dani tribe of Indonesia would partake in self-harm rituals in order to keep the spirits of the dead at peace and to keep bad spirits from getting to them. Although the Indonesian government banned it, some individuals still practice it today. So the tradition involves women tying strings onto their fingers very tightly until it's numbed. Then they will cut off a segment of their finger and then cauterize the tip to stop the bleeding. This practice is also said to be helpful in allowing physical pain to then help the processing of the emotional pain. So after they did this deed, they would offer their fingertips to the spirits of the deceased to keep them at bay. And then the segments were dried and burned and the ashes placed into their homes to ward off any spirits. In particular, the spirit of the person that had passed. Coming in at number 6, we have Epicureanism. Epicureanism is a religion 300 years older than Christianity, and they believe in multiple gods. But none of these gods are watching humans and seeing what we're up to. In fact, they don't even believe in an afterlife or reincarnation or heaven or hell. They believe that when an individual dies, that's it. The soul just dies with them and that's all. Sorry that this one is a little depressing. They believe, and I quote, "Death is nothing to us, for that which is dissolved is without sensation, and that which lacks sensation is nothing to us." It's also said that we should never fear death. Here's another quote: "While we exist, death is not present, and when death is present, we no longer exist." So basically, when we die, we won't know that we died, so what's the point of fearing death? We're now at our 5th and halfway mark with Christianity. Christianity is believed to be the biggest religion in the world with the most followers. So you might be a little familiar with the Christian beliefs. Basically, upon death, it's believed that they will come face to face with God and be judged for the deeds they have done or failed to do during their lifetime. If you have been a loyal follower of Christ, you will be granted eternal life in heaven, which is said to be a place devoid of pain, crying, or mourning. Then you have hell. If you reject God, you will be sent to hell. Those that go there are the ones that refuse to accept the happiness that God wants to share with people. Then we have purgatory. Now, not all Christians believe in purgatory, but basically after death, purgatory is a place where people who have sinned can make things right. Once they have done so, they will be granted access to heaven. In our fourth spot today, we have ancient Rome. Back in the days in ancient Rome, they believed that the deceased would live on in the underworld. Similar to ancient Greece, they have the ruler of the underworld that is like an equivalent to Hades. In the underworld, there is the field of Elysium where the souls of the blessed reside. Or you have Tartarus, where the damned gets to live. The unburied, though, would wait restlessly on the shores of the river Styx. Those who weren't buried were considered to haunt the living. Continuing on, they believe that souls of infants, falsely accused criminals, and people that took their own life would live in a limbo-like realm. Not only that, but some believed in reincarnation as well. Moving on to number 3, we have Norse religion. In Norse religion, after death, it was said that warriors were sent into these great realms. But in order to get there, they needed a vessel. So when someone died, back then, Vikings would place their body on a boat and push them off to sea. These boats were often surrounded by weapons and goods, even sometimes human sacrifices, all to help them get to their end destination. Not only that, but more wealthy Vikings would actually burn the boat with deceased on them and then push them out to sea. This was done to help their soul get to Valhalla, which was the afterlife designated for those who died in battle. The Vikings also would break the concept of the soul into 4 aspects. Pardon me if I pronounce these wrong, I probably will, but the 4 aspects were the hammer, the hugr, the flygia, and the hemingia. The hammer was a person's physical appearance, which could change upon death. The hugr was the personality of someone which would continue on with that person after death. In fact, they believed that one's hugr would pass into the body of a newborn relative. The flygia was basically their spirit animal. For example, a warrior might have a wolf or a bear as theirs. It was believed that this would cease to exist after death. And then we have the hemingia, which was the success one received in life. This would also be continued on in the family after the person's death. In our second spot, we have purgatory. Now, I briefly touched upon this, but let me go into more detail. Followers of the Catholic Church have embraced the concept of purgatory. Basically, those that died but are seen as imperfect in God's eyes have to go and cleanse their soul from sin and undergo purification. Some refer to purgatory as a cleansing fire that they go through. They believe that purgatory isn't a place but a spiritual state of the soul. Now, who goes to purgatory? Well, let's break it down. Obviously, those that live a very holy life go straight to heaven. Same with those who suffer from disease, poverty, or persecution. Those that are not bad enough to go to hell, but are not good enough to go to heaven, go to purgatory. Then, after their cleansing, they're allowed into heaven. And in our number 1 spot today, we have the Hanging Coffins. The people of Sagada in the Philippines like to place the dead in wooden coffins, which were then attached to the side of mountains underneath natural overhangs. The coffins were small because the bodies inside of them were placed in a fetal position. This was done because they believed that people should leave the world in the same position that they entered it. Now, the coffins were placed on the mountainsides for a number of reasons. 1, it's difficult to reach, so they will never be disturbed. And 2, the coffin was closer to the sky, meaning the deceased were closer to heaven, so it was easier for them to reach it. Alright guys, that's all for today's video. Let's move on to our comment shoutout portion. I'll be shouting out comments from the video top 10 terrifying signals from space that should have been kept a secret. Ooh. Choppy commented, I think the wow signal was Plankton finding the secret Krabby Patty formula. That was my Plankton impression. It was kind of bad. I love that. What was that one episode that's like ravioli, give me the formuloli? I don't even know. You guys know the reference? Maybe. Smash that like button if you do. Justin Cameron commented, I nominate Lindsay to be our ambassador to extraterrestrial life since she's so awesome and smart. I appreciate that, but I do not want to encounter an extraterrestrial head on, unless they're friendly like the alien in the movie Paul. Paul. Christine K commented, how does she know all of these? She must be the smartest girl in the world. It's because I am. Yeah, I don't even use Google. Honestly, I'm not even reading a script. It's all off the top of my head. So I'm that smart. Alright guys, that's all the comments I'm shouting out for today's video. Make sure to comment something down below for a chance to be featured in my next comment shout out. And as always, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to Most Amazing Top 10 for more amazing videos. I've been your host, Lindsay Ivan, and I'll see you when I see you. I wish they got that on camera. Chris just called me Chucky because I'm wearing overalls. That's so funny. Okay. That was good. Okay. Famadihana is a that's, I know there's an A at the end, but that's what Google said. Famadihana. No, it's Famadihana. Famadihana is a funeral tradition that the Malagasy. Now, the type of thread they used to create this suit symbolized the deceased status. Why did I say status? Pardon me if I pronounce these wrong, I probably will, but the four aspects were the hammer, the hugger, the phlygia, and the hemingia. I butchered that, I know.